Hello, everybody. It is the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Don't be a doofus. And we are doing a live version of the show, as most people catch it later, not live, and that's fine. So I do the show pretty much the same either way. Only I'm thinking super chat might be an option on this show. I don't know if it's been enabled yet. If somebody's out there watching, can you look and see if it is enabled? Don't you? I'm not asking you to push it or anything. Just let me know if it's available. If it's not, I'm not going to be talking about it. What we are going to be talking about tonight are some interesting and possibly complex things. The title of the show is Firestarters, and there have been numerous fires on the West Coast, and at least one of the major ones was started by a couple who the woman is expecting, and it was a reveal party with fireworks in an incredibly dry area. And I think the narrative has been changed, and situations have been used to possibly feed into other narratives. And we're going to talk about that. I'm actually working on trying to get an introduction to the show, one that comes on each and every time. First of all, last night's episode drew a lot of people taking the time to actually message me. I don't go back through and read the comments, and it's simply because the show's about other things other than me, and most of the comments seem to be about me. So I just ignore that. But I got a lot of messages last night on last night's episode, and messages from people I haven't heard from before. And there were, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them that had the same general thread, and that being that basically the black militias, which I talk about the NFAC, and I mentioned Delta Django, and I've mentioned there are many, many others, that basically 5 or 6, and it may have even been the same person under a bunch of different names. I don't know. I don't think it was, because the wording wasn't exact. It was just similar. Anyway, that the black militias were insignificant. And one guy wrote, "The black militias are meaningless. They will be wiped out." Okay. And in the next line, he wrote, "The Angry Viking Group is a group that's grown to counter the NFAC." From the same guy. If they're insignificant, why do you need to counter them? What's the purpose of countering something that's insignificant? So I think this is an example of a problem, that people get too much propaganda, that too much is not based on facts, it's based on feelings. Where have we heard that before? Credit to Grandmaster Jay. But it's true. Things are based on feelings, not on facts, and sometimes it's based on what you want to believe. I believe this, so I've got to find things that make what I believe true, even though what you believe may not be true. There are a couple of ways of getting fooled. Okay, you can get fooled by somebody lying to you and you believe it, or you can get fooled by knowing the truth and refusing to accept it. Imagine a clear stream. All right. I mean, the clearest water you've ever seen. Better than supposed Rocky Mountain water that they make Coors beer out of. And I'm not a representative of Coors beer. It's just a commercial that I've seen since I was a kid. Um, Imagine that stream. And on both sides of that stream are people throwing dirt. And it doesn't matter. There's one side's going to throw more dirt than another, but it doesn't matter because the water gets so muddy, you can't see what was once clear. And imagine truth laying on the bottom, on that bed of that stream. And it's hard to find the truth when the waters get so muddy. And that's where we are, America. That's where we are. It's hard to find the truth. And that's the whole reason I'm doing this show, is because I believe there are bad things coming. And I want to do everything I can to try to stop them. And the first thing is to gain knowledge of what these bad things could be. And then figure out how to try to stop them. I mean, I've got my own theory of what I think is coming and why. And, it's a giant conspiracy theory. And I'm not sure I'm ever going to share it, because if I share it and it comes true, then all of a sudden I'm this great mastermind that planned all this shit, when in fact I'm just a guy that watched too many movies and writes novels and does an internet show. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to even share, but I don't know. I just get this feeling that I know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen and why. And the only thing I don't know is how bad and how long. But again, I'm not sure I'm even going to share it. So that's where we're at. I've got the flag hanging upside down. It's not in disrespect to the flag at all. It's a sign of distress, because I believe our country's in distress. I believe the very fabric of our country is in distress. And I think there are a lot of people that aren't aware of it. And maybe that's for the best. But I think we need to talk about it, and we need to keep talking about it. And one of the things we need to talk about is who's the enemy? When the water's so muddy you can't see the truth, who's the enemy? You can't see your own reflection either. Who's the enemy? Well, it depends on who you are. It depends on who you are. I hope I'm no one's enemy, but I can't imagine that to be true. It depends who you are. Who is the enemy? The reason I ask this is because, again, the title of the episode is Firestarters. And while video is strong evidence, incredibly strong evidence, sometimes the water is so muddy that we don't see what is actually there. Okay? There's a video going around. It came out yesterday. Now, this is, well, I'm just going to play the video. I'm going to see how this works. I don't know even know if you'll be able to see it or not, but we're going to try it. If not, I'll tape an episode, a real quick episode with the video in it, and post it. Let's see if we can see this. Here it is again. I'm going to show it one more time. And watch how he walks up the street. Watch his arm movements. Okay, and there he suddenly sees something there that he's going to set on fire. I have a feeling whatever was, this is a plant. The guy just suddenly sees something and bends over and sets it on fire. No, he knew something was going to be there. And it's hard to tell on this, but he looks at the camera. Now, that's the other thing I want to talk about. One more time. This is not a still surveillance camera. Okay? You guys see something, bends over and lights it. He doesn't plant anything that he knows is going to ignite. He sees something, bends over and ignites it. Whatever the motivation, it's horrible. Okay? No matter what, it's horrible. But watch the camera. The camera follows him. You can see it's from the inside. Then the camera zooms back in. This is not a surveillance camera. Okay? I'm going to do it one more time. You can slow the episode down, I guess, maybe, and watch it. Zoom in and stuff. I don't know. I'm just a host of a YouTube show. But there's something there that it was there before he got there. Let's just put it that way. And he walks away, and you see the camera pan along the way he walks. Then it goes back to where whatever it is starting to smoke. Okay? Now, it's a hell of a coincidence that the guy doing the filming just happened to have his camera pointed in the right spot at the right time. It's a hell of a coincidence that something was there ready to ignite. Also, that was a white man that lit that fire. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the camera person was in on it. And if it was not planned, why did the camera person not run out and try to stop him from setting fire to a property seemed to be pretty close to his own? I think this was done to place blame on someone else. This was done because a rumor started that Black Lives Matters were starting these wildfires, that they weren't the result of a single, and a lot of them are the result of a single fire started by an affluent family announcing a pregnancy. Blessings on the baby. Don't wish you ill will. I hope they do get fined for the damages they've caused. And it was there's this big thing that Black Lives Matters started these fires, and it was because overzealous people listening to scanners heard BLM. We got to get BLM, which is Bureau of Land Management, who's in charge of responses to these kind of things. Okay, that came out. So the day after that came out, this video that we just saw came out. Isn't that really coincidental? I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying what I think is happening. I think it's being spun. I think this is a setup. It was a frame up. It was made to look like some random dude just coming and burning down shit. Because that's what certain people want you to believe is going to happen. And it may. But if it does, who's responsible for it? Who's the real fire starter? Who's your enemy? White people, do you hate that white guy? Well, how are you going to know what white guys to hate? Black people, you can't hate all white people. You got to have some kind of connection somewhere, somebody that you know is good. And I shouldn't say you can't, because I'm not telling you how to think, and I have not lived the life you've lived. I've apologized before for what happened to the cultures of people of color, brown, black, red, yellow, all. Even though I personally didn't have anything to do with it, it should have never happened, and I'm sorry that it happened. I really am. And if somebody asked me to comment on Grandmaster Jay going to the World Court, and I'd forgotten to do it in the beginning, but I'll do it right now. I'm not surprised. He said that's what he intended to do. I've said all along that I believe this guy just seized a moment. I don't think he was set up by the government. I don't think anything other than he seized a moment. And who am I to say God didn't say, boom, this is what you need to do? And also, from the way Grandmaster Jay talks at times, I think he feels like his time's very limited and he's going to be taken out. And he knows it. That's, I don't think the guy's an agent. I think he bit off more than he could chew at first. And he's taken a couple of steps back and regrouping. And I honestly don't think any black person should be underestimated, because I ask all the time, who is the enemy? The question, why are there enemies? Well, because people have lived so different lives, one from another, without ever trying to understand each other. And there, white people, please get this to all of your white people friends, okay? That there are black people that are, I'm not just talking NFAC, there are black people that are really pissed off. And there are a lot of them that look at, they don't have anything to lose. Now, white people, especially those of you that want to be a warrior, be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror, first of all, and go, man, should I really be doing this? Because I shouldn't be doing it. I don't plan on doing it. I hope I never have to do it. Second thing you got to look at is, why am I really mad? I mean, I got this house, I got a car, I got a fishing boat, I got yada, 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 yada. What the hell are you pissed off about? That somebody else might get a little something? That's no reason to go to war. It's no reason to go to war. Promoting fear in the white culture where there's already fear and ignorance. And I'm not talking, I'm talking ignorance by the fact that most were never taught anything other than ignorance. This isn't I hate white people. No, listen, this is serious. This isn't a game, and it may not end. White people, it may not end the way you want it to, or the way you think it will, or as quick as you want it to. Simply because you got a whole lot to live for. And if you're looking at it as black and white, some of them are ready. A lot of them are ready. How many? I hope it never matters. Let's just be where we are. Let's try to think about where we are, and let's try to back away from where we are. I said I had a theory about all of this and when it's going to kick off, because I believe it's going to kick off unless we do something. And I'm open to hearing what we do. I'll sit in any room with anybody and talk and try to get peace, understanding, equality, things that we pledge allegiance to in the flag, things that are in our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, and things that aren't exemplified today. I can give you an example right off the top of my head. Two reporters, two live streamers that I follow in Louisville. Jason Downey, a young white man, and Shay K. Woolfolk, a beautiful black woman that does tremendous work in the media. And one of them was in the park and actually resisted arrest technically because he had to push the button to send the video of the live stream. He got banged into porta potties and slammed to the ground, and because he was in the park where you weren't supposed to be. Shay was outside the park filming. She was probably 20 feet outside the park filming, doing the exact same thing Jason was. The police came towards Shay. She sat down. They arrested her. They charged her for resisting arrest, I think rioting, which was a felony, and I don't remember, but she had 3 charges, including a felony. Jason had 2 charges, no felony. I apologize about the doofus dog barking in the background, but that's what she does at times, especially if something's happening anywhere outside. So injustice is going on. Inequality is going on in the justice system. And that's what all this started from. The fact that there's too much unnecessary police violence. And even when the police violence is recognized, there is little done. And I'm not Grandmaster Jay, but I can tell you from the number of messages and things I get, black people are done with it. They want the whole thing torn down. All right. They're ready to tear it down. The system, the judicial system, the people responsible for implementing crimes or prisons for profit. It's a big, massive complex, the industrial prison system. And it's got to be fed because it's got shareholders that need to get paid. It needs to be torn down. Never should have started to begin with. Oh, and one other, a guy actually not on here, but somewhere else mentioned to me that he said, actually, I don't agree with everything you say, but you seem to try to be pretty down the middle and talk about, things that are uncomfortable. And I said, yes, I do that. And, it pisses some people off, and others respect it and appreciate it. And he said, well, it's a shame that Obama ruined the media. And I said, what do you mean Obama ruined the media? And he said, well, that's when it was passed that you couldn't, that you didn't have to show both sides. And I said, yeah, that's when the fairness in broadcasting was taken down, but it wasn't by Obama. It wasn't his choice. It was by the Republican-controlled Congress, the Republican-controlled Senate, Republican-controlled Supreme Court. So again, there's all this twists and all this mud being thrown in the water, and it gets hard to know who the Firestarters are. And it's going to get even harder to know who's the enemy. It's the American Doofus Show. Thank you for watching. I don't know if the super chat option worked. I forgot all about it. There are going to be two new things. Super chat is you can hit the button, and I think it's $2 minimum, and your thing pops up in a big box, and I guarantee I see what you're saying and address it. And another thing is going to be memberships. You're going to be able to buy a membership, again, starting at $2.99 a month, and there'll be some perks with memberships, including there'll be some chats that are members only, Q&As, things like that, possibly some members only videos, and we're going to possibly do a thank you. Thank you, Celia. What's your email? Would love to contact you about Delta Django. You can email americandoofus@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Now I know it works, and you're my top donor. Thank you. And we're going to do memberships, and it'll start at, and like I said, there'll be membership perks. That is not active yet. I'll let you know as soon as that's active, as soon as YouTube lets me know it's active, and it's nice to know the super chat works. It's not mandatory, but it guarantees that I see what you want me to see, and it helps the program, and the program needs help. So thank you, Celia. Thank you, everybody. I love you all. I really do. Whether you hate me or not, I still love you, because we're all humans. And if we could come to that understanding, the world would be the place that I think God would like to see it be. And that's just my personal opinion. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. And if anything breaks in between then, there'll be a special episode pop up. Again, thank you. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. Make sure you stay alive, whatever you do, because I want to see you back here again. And I want you to have a blessed life. It's the American Doofus Show. I'm Barry Welsh. Don't be a doofus.